Hey, soul survivors, we're going to talk about the difference in the destruction of a healthy versus a narcissistic relationship and can they be saved? So, in a healthy relationship, things can go bad due to a variety of different reasons, but the couple, they can often work through these issues and restore their relationship. So, some common reasons why a healthy relationship might start to falter is the lack of communication. When communication between partners start to break down, it can lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and also a lack of emotional connection. And if one or both partners lose trust in the other, it can create a sense of insecurity, suspicion, and then this will lead to future relationship problems. Also changes in priorities. Sometimes that happens as we grow through our lives. And when one partner's priorities shift, it can lead to a lack of time or attention that's given to the relationship. And that can create distance and also resentment. And when the couple has conflicts and they arise and they're not resolved, they can start to fester and they create resentment over time, leading to a breakdown in the relationship. But on the other side of this, when it's a narcissistic relationship, it starts off with power imbalances to the destruction. And the narcissistic partner, they can use various manipulative tactics to maintain control and dominance over their partner. And the narcissistic person, they become possibly more demanding, even more controlling. And as this type of relationship progresses, the narcissistic partner may become more demanding, controlling, using manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional abuse to maintain power and control over their partner. And we'll talk about the brain structure in just a minute of the narcissist. So the non-narcissistic partner, they feel more and more trapped as time goes by. And as a narcissistic partner's demands become more extreme, the non-narcissistic person starts to feel trapped, powerless to even escape the relationship. And the empathetic partner starts to lose their sense of self, and that's a very horrible feeling. That's why we start to feel off. We start to question things. The constant manipulation and gaslighting can lead to not to us to lose who we are. We become completely consumed by the relationship. Our brain is working overtime, and because of the imbalances that are going on in our brain, it can cause CPTSD and brain damage. So this relationship becomes toxic and abusive over time. We begin because of our narcissistic person's manipulation and the abuse, it can escalate, leading to a toxic and abusive relationship, and it can be difficult to escape or work through. So healthy relationships, they can go bad due to various reasons, but the narcissistic relationship has that power imbalance and the manipulation, and it just starts becoming extremely toxic. So what is different in the narcissist brain that causes them to choose to do these things? So there is still a need for more research, but one of the key differences is the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain up here. And that's responsible for regulating impulses, decision making. And when we're trying to understand the narcissist brain, it's kind of like if you've ever known somebody who is either high or drunk and they're doing things that they normally wouldn't do, they're not processing things because we're trying to understand our narcissist state of mind, and it's just not working right. It's just not working right. So it's kind of like I can't talk to the drunk person, not to, the reasoning goes out of their mind. It's just not working because of altered state. So the narcissist brain is in an altered state, and the studies are showing that narcissists have less activity in the prefrontal cortex, and that can contribute to their impulsive behavior and also their lack of empathy for others. It causes them to focus inward. And there's even additional research that's shown that the narcissists have a larger and more active amygdala, and that area of the brain is responsible to process the emotions, particularly fear and aggression. So they can have it overactive, so they're hyper to it. And it can explain why they often have that heightened sense of self-importance, and they can react aggressively when they feel their ego is threatened, or they'll just shut down. And there does need to be more studies, But what's interesting is just the structural differences in their brain's reward system, particularly the ventral striatum. And this area of the brain is responsible for processing pleasure and reward. The narcissists have been shown to have a heightened response in this area of the brain, and they get that when they're receiving positive feedback or praise, and this may contribute to their excessive need for attention and validation of others. So when we're thinking, can they heal from this? There's a lot of differences in their brain structure. But there's still, possibly environment might play a part, genetics might play a part, and there's no cure for narcissism, but they do different kinds of behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Some studies are saying that, it's possible with that kind of treatment to rewire the brain. I want to do more research. I haven't exactly seen if it's possible in the narcissistic brain. But our brains are neuroplastic. Sometimes we adapt, just like people who lose their eyesight, then their ears become heightened as far as sense of hearing. But the self-aware people that I know have stated, it's an ongoing process. And when you watch YouTube, the self-aware narcissists that are, pretty much, there's some you can see that they're still in a lot of pain. There's a few that are like, yeah, and this is this and that. And sometimes it kind of isn't quite making sense what they're saying, but they do say they've been in therapy for years and they have to consistently do it. Is your person able to afford it? Are they able to commit to that? And we have to remember, without the rewiring of the brain, they're not going to have the empathy. They might have cold empathy where they might be able to spew out the right words like, oh, I'm sorry, or, I understand that you're sad about this, but they're not going to have that connection. It's a lack of connection. And if they don't have the lack of connection, they're just not going to treat you right. And it's sad how damaging it is to relationships, but it will cause brain damage in you as well. And I'll do some more videos on that. So I hope that helped. Healing takes time. We can rewire our brain or use that neuroplasticity and develop a brighter future. I'm here to help you with that. And I promise once you get to a certain stage, it's like you get over the mountain. So it's going to be a tough climb, but it's worth the journey because it'll be so much more peaceful on the other side. I'll see you soon.